All right, Lecker, we are back for another episode of the Rodcast, mate, and this episode is brought to us by Daiwa. The legends at Daiwa have gotten behind us in 2026, and you are holding a special bit of kit that they are releasing very, very soon, mate. What do you got there?
They got some huge releases this year. I'm holding their premium bait caster. This is the 26 Ryoga. Comes in 100 and 150 sizes, 6 kilos of drag. I love my bait casters. This thing is smooth as butter. Cannot wait to get it out on the water.
That does not surprise me one bit, mate. That thing's full of premium JDM, Japanese Daiwa technology. I think I'm going to have to add one to my kit as well, mate. That is a bloody nice reel.
Make sure you guys support Daiwa because they support the Rodcast. Now let's rip into this episode.
Let's get into it. So we are back for another Rodcast, Lecker. How you going?
Mate, very good actually. Today I'm excited. I'm always excited for a Rodcast, but today super excited because we got someone from a region that I absolutely love.
And don't shut up about.
Nah, I always go on about it, and probably I'm going to talk about it a fair bit throughout this episode, but I see it as one of the, if not the premier fishing area in Australia.
Because you can do everything, right?
You can do everything, and I feel like the best fishermen that I've ever met come out of this area. So I'm going to let you introduce our guest.
Cool. Well, today we got RT, Mr. Ryan Turner, all the way. You from Dampier or Karratha, bro?
Grew up in Dampier, but from living in Karratha now.
Nice. So we got Ryan Turner on the Rodcast today, which is a privilege, mate. Thank you for coming in. Short notice, pretty quick turnaround, but we start every podcast, mate, with a question that you're probably familiar with now, the last fish that you caught.
So yeah, last fish I caught was last weekend. We did a little mission up the coast and it was a barra.
Oh yeah, nice. I didn't pick you to say barra as your first. Everything on your Instagram is
I
blue
do
water.
Do love me barra fishing, and we had a bit of a hellmish about 70 k's north of Port Hedland.
Yep.
Went up and did a mission up to a creek up there. I'm not going to name it because it's a special spot. Had a wicked session. Went to wait for the tide to move into the next session and blew a hydraulic line on the dinghy.
Oh, lovely.
So we had to cut the other side so it didn't get a lock, and then manually steer it home 6.5 hour mish into about a 15 knot westerly to go home.
How fun. Was it a tiller?
No, it wasn't. That was a rear centre console.
That would have been a pain in the ass.
So yeah,
someone
lucky.
up the back.
How big was the last barra that you got?
I think the best one we got was 82.
It's worth it.
Yeah, it was worth it, but we were still we didn't get to where we wanted to go, and we knew, and the fishing was good. Yeah. So a little bit spewing, but yeah, two of us literally sitting on either side of the motor with a strap on each side, trying to do the throttle, 6.5 hour
That sounds
mish.
like us on our recent barra trip. So we've got an 80 series that had no windscreen wipers and got hit with a monsoon. So I had fishing line tied to both windscreen wipers, Lex stressing out, and I'm there going like this trying to get the windscreen wipers.
Absolute shit show, but it makes it for a good adventure. And pretty much he's summed up what I just said about this area. You weren't expecting him to say barramundi because of the blue water fishing up in the Pilbara area is off its head, but they do have the creek angles as well, which I absolutely froth on and love. So the fact that he said his last fish was a barra is a little insight as to how well-rounded these guys are. Now, when we're doing this podcast, it's in December. So talk us a little bit about the conditions up there at the moment this year. Has it been wet? Is it what are you looking for with the barra fishing through the Pilbara?
Oh, so barra fishing in the Pilbara. So I will admit I'm not a gun at it. There, like you said, there are some absolute gun barra fishermen in the Pilbara. I've just been grateful that I've learnt from some of those guys. So for me, barra fishing in the Pilbara, very, very dry up until we get our first cyclone. As soon as we get our first cyclone, depending on how much rain we get, it'll either be a good thing or it'll absolutely fuck it.
Yeah.
Too much rain in the Pilbara, it just turns it to shit. So for us, my favourite month for the barras is November.
Yep.
And again, depending on the rain, depending on the temps, the water temps, so that it'll get to a point where, because our creeks are just small, shallow coastal creeks, as soon as that water temp kind of gets over around that 31, 32 constant, the fishing gets tough.
Yep.
So I love, soon as it hits about that 27 degrees up to about 30 for the months of November, December, they're my pick of the bunch.
It's funny that you say that as well, because I've got a mate that's got a station up near Port Hedland, and all of my fishing trips in my footy off season would always be to their creeks and that on their station. And it took me a few years to figure out the barramundi, but once I did, I realised how much of a hidden gem it is up there. And it's funny as well that you say a big rain can absolutely fuck a trip, because that's what happened to us, Rothy.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah,
when
we just got back from Karratha,
120 mil of rain the week before that we got up there, so no doubt made it hard.
Well, it's funny, right? Because you'd be sitting there looking at the conditions, and it's like everything's running off, and it looks like everything should be fishing well, but when it's at the start of the season, it's all just rain. Like nothing's got any bait fish or nutrients, so it sort of made me realize, like, oh, okay, so at the end of the wet, everything's already gone up in the floodplains, and then with the runoff, it's all sort of coming off, and there's all bait fish and everything in it. But when we were there with that first big cyclone and that first rain, it just
all the food sources downriver already. All the rain's doing is actually hindering it coming up. So there's nothing there. But.
And that's what happens in the Pilbara. We got no floodplains. We got nothing like that. So as soon as we have a runoff, it's just literally pushing all shit, mud, crap, pushes all the bait out the creek, flushes it out, and the fish aren't.
Yeah, right. I'll just get you to bring that mic a little closer to you, brother.
You are also a bit of or you're mates with some of the guys that we've recently had on the podcast as well. So Sammy Colvin, Tommy Miller. You're standing here, you're a bit of a big, fit-looking bloke. I heard you had the dirtiest fullback in the fucking world. Up there. So, I'm glad I wasn't playing full forward for one of the opposition sides up there. But who'd you play for? The Dampier Sharks.
Dampier Sharks. It took me a few years to really find my feet in the footy scene up there. I was grateful that I got to play under an amazing coach and a person that I look up to gratefully in Brendan Bell.
Yeah.
And I was a bit of a utility player for years. I started in the guts. I moved to wing, and I didn't really find my feet. And he really cemented me a position that was just a simple footy position. Fullback, stop that bloke.
Yeah,
that's your job.
Just hit him.
I don't give a fuck how many possessions you get. Just stop that bloke, and that's what I
resonated with.
Country. 100%. I've never been exposed to country footy like that. It's pretty rough, isn't it? Super competitive. Everyone's real passionate and proud.
It's funny, because when I went back I played a couple of years of country football, I played 5 games a couple of years in a row for Savannies after I'd finished in the AFL, and everyone was like, "Oh, it's country footy, it's rough." But I figured, if I'm not an arsehole or a dickhead to my opposition, then they're going to hopefully be pretty nice back to me. So I feel like if you're a super competitive guy in country footy, then you'll get it back tenfold. So, it's a funny one. It's funny that you say that with fullback as well, because Darren Glass, one of the best players I ever played with at West Coast, said to me, "I'm shit at footy. I'm just fucking better at making it harder for the bloke that I'm playing at." He goes, "I'm not good at footy. I'm just good at making it hard for my player."
And that was the strategy I just went with as well. Like, I was never a bloke that ever got best on ground, but it was just that one job. Shut him down and make sure he has a shit game. So
between you two, we could talk about footy for ages, but that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about fishing. So, mate, I want to rewind it back. You said you were Dampier born and raised. Where did fishing come in the picture for you?
So I come from a fishing family. So my old man, he grew up in South Australia. He came from a fishing family. He cut his teeth as a jetty rat, fishing all the South Australian jetties, mulloway, land-based pink snapper. That was his life.
Yep.
Him and mum moved over to Dampier when I was 2. So I could say I was born and bred, but I was actually born in Adelaide, but all my memories are from Dampier. And we just grew up. I grew up fishing from when I was in the nappy. Our family boat was just a little 4-metre tinny with a 30 on it. And he had me out there since, I was 2 years old. And a lot of the early years were just your bread and butter fishing for food. So it was just catching coral trout, catching bluebone, handline fishing.
Just bread and butter.
Yeah.
Just whiting and herring down here.
We had trips up there to catch that stuff.
Yeah, that's right. So blessed from the area I was living in, but for years that was what we did. And, as I got a little bit older, a little bit more capable, he bought me like a bait caster, and we started doing a bit of fishing for fun, because obviously the fishing up there is so good. We had plenty of fish, but we always wanted to fish. So started going catching queenies and little brassy trevally and having a bit of fun. And I just remember, as soon as I got that first bait caster, I was just out on the lawn with a little plug, just cast and cast and cast. And then, it just progressed from there.
Do you remember what it was, your bait caster?
It was an early series millionaire. I think the first diver millionaire.
Yeah, right. You were saying that actually a couple of weeks ago. If they could bring back one.
And it was on a ugly stick pistol grip. I don't know if you ever remember them. They didn't have a butt. It was just like a little handle.
Yeah, I remember them. Yeah.
Had one of them.
I think Birchie's got one of them, eh?
That's what he's got just about every ugly stick. I reckon. Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, and then kind of me and the old man together, because that wasn't he didn't know much about sports fishing either, but together we learnt.
Yep.
And it was just going out catching queenies, and then progressed into, all right, we'll go out and start trawling for some mackerel, and started to fish and catch Spanish mackerel in the tinny, and from there it just the bug bit me and away we went.
Off we went.
Mate, that's actually wicked. Just a tip for anyone that's got kids that love fishing or they want to get into fishing. Buy your kid a bait caster and just get a lure on the end of it and take the hooks off and put a bloody ice cream bucket or something at the end of your backyard, and it will give them something to do and something to get better at while you're not actually fishing. Same thing. If you're looking for something else, get them a throw net.
Even a spin
100%.
reel. I actually, funny you say it, Lex. So for my 8th birthday, we were going up to Moore River every year, and I wanted an ugly stick. That's all I wanted. So we had got one tackle up in Woodvale, and I saw this ugly stick. I'm like, that's the one that I wanted. The only reason,
right round on itself.
The only reason I wanted is because it said gold, and I thought, oh, gold's like, that's the thing they see in all the movies as a kid. Like, that's the treasure, that's the rod I want. So ended up getting that for Christmas, and I did exactly what you're talking about there, Lex. I tied a little ball sinker onto the end of my line and would go into the street and just ping it as far as I could, full danger zone. But I remember one day it was a 2-piece rod, and I didn't actually put it in the butt section hard enough. And this was probably day 2 of having it, like Boxing Day. Flung this rod, and the tip went flying, just crushed it, fully fucked my brand new rod. I was so devastated. I remember that.
That's not likely with an ugly stick, mate. That wouldn't happen.
The butt went straight into the ground. Fucked it. But, mate, teenage years, I actually did a bit of research on you, and I hit up your mate, Brenton Gartledge. And he told me to ask you about how you got away with stealing your parents' troopy in the tinny.
Yeah, so like I said, grew up in Dampier, and 2 doors up, my best mate was Warren Tucker. We grew up together. Same thing, his family moved from Bunbury, both at the same age, same school, 2 doors up. And we, both grew up fishing together. And we used to have days where the old man, he worked at Hammers the Iron back then. He'd chuff off to work. Mum would go down to work at the community association, and me and Woz would walk to school together. High school this is, so we'd get halfway to the bus stop, no wind, and we're like, fuck this, we're going fishing. So we'd wait for both mum and dad to leave, and we'd just burn straight back home, grab the old man's troopy. We didn't have a license, hook the tinny up, and bang.
No way.
Yeah, we'd just go down, launch, fish all day. Make sure we're home like an hour before school, quickly scrub the boat down, clean everything, put the car
evidence.
away. Yep. Walk up to the bus stop, wait for the bus, and then walk back.
Bullshit. How good is that?
And then the old man would come home about an hour later, and he's like, oh, fuck's the boat wet? And like, it was just dusty, I gave it a wash for you, cleaned it up, getting ready for the weekend. He's like, oh yeah, all good.
Good on you, son.
Legends. Yeah.
So
did he ever bust you?
Nah, he didn't. But I remember later on, like my 18th or some shit, he was like, I knew you fuckers were out fishing. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So.
What were you catching during those sessions?
Oh, we just used to go
Anything
and just
worth going home and bragging to your old boy about?
Oh, we always used to just go up and fish the wharfs.
Yeah.
You'd know up there, like the salt wharf or the Hall one. We just go ping lures at there and catch queenies and GTs, or we get cobia or just whatever. We just used to froth on whatever.
That would have been hard not to go home if you're fishing, as you said, fishing and learning with your old man, and not be like, Dad, look what I caught or whatever. Or maybe he's never seen you catch something and you go, I've caught one of them.
Yeah, it was funny because, at a certain time of the year we get, it's always around AFL Grand Final Day, we get a heap of manta rays come into the archipelago.
Yeah.
That's always that change between, that change between winter and summer, and we get the algae bloom and the coral spawn, and all the mantas come in and feed on that, and you get the cobias. And we went out one day and there was just manta rays over cobias everywhere. And I come back, it was on like a Friday, and hit the old man up, hey, we should go and see if there's any manta rays tomorrow. I was like, oh yeah, good idea. And we went out there, I was like, oh fuck, there they are.
Exactly where to go. What to
fucking
use.
lures hanging out of their head and shit.
Mate, that's wicked though. If you're a fishing dad, if there's one thing that you would want to bust your son doing.
In front of the wife, you'd be like, son, we can't have that anymore. But as soon as you walked off, you'd put your hand out, shake his hand.
On the back.
I've raised him right. Yeah. Legend. Yeah. That's funny.
Good.
Yeah, because we got our boat license when we were 15. Back then, it was a TL3. There was no boat license back then. But the old man said, if you go and pass your TL3, you can take the tinny out. It's like, yeah, no worries. But he always used to say, he was like, when I launch you, don't go past the harbour. So the harbour was the limit, right? So we could fuck around in the harbour, and the old man would launch us. All right, be back here at 3 o'clock. He'd piss off. This is on like a weekend. we're like, fuck this, we're going. So we'd be out out around the islands fishing or whatever, and we'd come home and we'd have like trout, blue bone and all this shit. And he's like, where'd you get them? Oh, just back at Sam's Island. I was like, fuck off. You know what I mean?
Oh, how
So
good.
tell us a little bit about the islands and the place as well. So I believe you know one of my good mates up there, Deeks. So I'd love to actually get Deeks in on the podcast. He's sort of unknown, but for me, I mentioned guys that I always looked up to, and he was one that I've done a couple of trips up there and sort of fished with, and he's shown me around the area there. And I hear him talk about you guys and some of your mates up there that fish, and he sort of says, no, these guys, they're dialed in even more. So talk to us a little bit about the area, like the islands. There's, I don't know how many islands off there.
This is the Dampier Archipelago that we're talking about here.
Yep. So this is the backyard. 42 islands in our archipelago. Closest island's probably 2 k's offshore, and then probably the furthest island I'd say is probably 30 k's offshore, and then that extends about 30 k's to the west, 25 k's to the east in a circumference. So
could never fish all of that,
mate. And that's what I mean. Like there's still bays in that archipelago that I haven't been in.
Wow,
that's to put that.
Wow.
In that kind of regard. And then we've got an island chain that pretty much runs from our archipelago all the way down to Onslow. There's coastal islands the whole way down.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could live there for your life and not fish every.
Yeah.
How good's that for a spot to grow up?
Amazing.
Onslow's another spot that I've sort of found.
Onslow's amazing. Amazing. Yep.
Crazy spot. And what about the Monties? Because that's just that little bit further out.
Yeah. Yep. So we're the closest port that has a good launch facility to get to the Monties. So that's a 120k run out to the Monties, and then to the south you got the Lowendale Islands of Varanus Island, and then you got Barrow Island as well. So spent a lot of time at all of them over the years as well, and they just elevate it again. They're unreal. The fishery out there is amazing.
So I know Rothy really wants to pick your brain on one particular species, which I'll let him get to in a minute. But is there certain locations and certain islands that you're picking for different spots? Because we know you do a lot of stuff when it comes to mackies, billfish, GTs, all that sort of stuff. Like what sets the Monties apart for you? I'm talking about the Montebello Islands.
Yeah. So I've just been very lucky that I've grown up in a fishing club with such good anglers that I've been able to learn off. So when you talked about about certain species, certain spots in the archipelago, when we fish our line class tournaments, it's a species tournament. So it's a wide range of species that count for your total bag. So over the years, you just learn, hey, this spot holds golden trevally. This spot holds big eye trevally. This spot's Spanish mackerel. You know what I mean? And you really nut out time on the water and just fishing for individual species. And it's got to a point where like some of the anglers up there within 4 days, I'm just thinking back to the tournament this year, the winning boat, 4 days, I think they got 19 species.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, which is that's unbelievable. That's amazing.
Pretty bloody diverse.
Yeah. And that's not by luck. That's literally saying we're chasing this species, catch that one. All right, next one. We're catching this species and go and catch it. It's not just like, oh, hey, we're fishing for a mackie and we catch a trevally.
Yeah,
that's actually
what
saying.
What did Tommy say last episode about that? He said something about targeting certain fish, but if you catch another one, it's not really like you've succeeded. We were talking about what makes a good angler off the back of the demersal rules and stuff like that. And his whole thing was, you're not a very good angler, and we kind of agree here. You're not a very good angler if you are so devastated about the demersal ban that you can't go out and catch other species. It's an opportunity to challenge yourself.
Yep.
And he said that you can go out and, try and catch a whiting inshore. I think the analogy he used was you can go and catch a whiting inshore, but if you catch a swordfish, you've failed.
Yep.
In a sense.
Yeah,
but if you go and try and catch a swordfish and you catch a whiting, you've also failed.
Yeah, it could be a fish of a lifetime, but you actually haven't.
Yeah, and it's a great memory. There's no taking nothing away from that for anybody. That I've had moments like that I'll remember forever, but it's the good anglers are the ones that are going out and targeting stuff.
And they know why they're fishing. And that's exactly sort of what I mentioned at the beginning about guys being absolutely dialed in up there and knowing conditions, being like, oh, there's a manta ray. All right, I'll pull a cobia off it.
Yeah, or I'm going to use this lure for it.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to retrieve it in this way.
Yeah.
That's what makes a good angler.
And it's going to become, or it has to become more of a thing down here on this, like in the southwest.
Absolutely.
Because like we said, we've just had the demersal stuff taken away. So there's plenty of other options.
Oh, there is.
sorry, I just cut you off there, but it's probably one thing I noticed fishing up around that Pilbara area as well is a lot of the time the trout, the ranking cod, the red emperor aren't necessarily the first thing you go out and target when you take your boat out. It's so like a lot of the time it'll be billfish or it'll be. Yep. So what does a day out on the water look like for you mainly?
Oh, it depends what time of the year. Like, but you're right. Like a lot of the fishing will be around how long you're going to be out on the water, what's the tide doing, time of the year, and you'll have your day set before you launch. You know, so it's like, all right, we're going to go out. We've got a good GT tide in the morning, so we'll spend the first 3 hours go GT fishing. Top of the tide, we want to be here to be slow pitch jigging. We'll go bang a couple of trout, and then it's like, then we got a good run out tide. We'll be able to go sailfish the afternoon. You know what I mean? You can really just have your day set just by looking at the tide or the moon phase, time of the year, and away you go. And then, as you're out there, you're doing it. It's like, boom, hey, there's a longtail blow up. You go and catch a longtail tuna. Oh, hey, there's a manta ray, catch a cobia, or you know what I mean?
You can sort of get
the day
distracted.
can evolve. Yeah, 100%.
Before we move on to specific species, because I know Rothy wants to ask you about the GTs, Deeks found that shipwreck up there.
He did.
Yeah. And
are we allowed to talk about this?
Yeah. It's all out now. Cat's out of the bag.
Yeah, I actually fished that with him.
Prior to
it coming out. Yeah. So for those that don't know, I don't know the name of the wreck, but
it's the Glen Bank.
The Glen Bank. Yeah. So I think they were anchored up on it.
Yeah.
And I'd love to get him in here to tell 100%. The story.
And his version of the story, it's straight from the horse's mouth. So that'd be great.
Yeah. And anyway, like the anchor that they pulled up after they got snagged on it, they realized like it was metal rubbing on metal, and then ended up diving on it and finding out that it was this big shipwreck that had been missing for a while.
Oh, wow. So they thought they were anchored in reef.
Yeah. It just was out in the middle of nowhere, basically. You know more about where the location is.
It's a paddock. It's nothing.
Just a full punt.
Yep.
And he was winning the line class comps off that one.
And they were going out and fishing, and they were so they were fishing tag and release, and they were tagging all these rainbow runners. And we do get rainbow runner up there, but I couldn't go and be like, I'm going to go catch a rainbow runner. And they were catching like 10. You're like, where the fuck are they catching these rainbow runners? And it was off that wreck. Yeah.
And because it's in a completely different direction.
It's not a common area. No, that's right.
What was the conversation? Was there conversation amongst fishers? Like,
there was, but after a couple of years, they kind of said when they found out that they let a few of the boy group know, they're like, hey, we found a wreck.
Yeah.
And we're fishing this wreck. They didn't let on where it was, but they had that to themselves for years. And like some of the ranking cod they were getting there were like 14 kilo. Like,
wow.
Huge, man. I think he took Bunga there.
Yeah.
I remember him sending me a photo of Bunga holding this ranking, and it was like the biggest ranking I've ever seen.
Yeah. Massive.
Holy shit.
I know. I've seen the footage of when they dove on it to actually find out what it was. And
basically what happened is it ended up on a TV show. We'll let Deeks tell the rest of the story.
Ended up, but you can't fish there now.
Yeah, okay.
It's all been zoned off.
But the problem is, right, so you can't fish it now. It's a sanctuary. It's a no fish zone, but because it's on the chart, it gets fucking all the time. And now it's just a shark pit.
Yeah.
So it's sad. It's a sad story. I'll let Kev tell the story, but it's a bit of a sad ending for what was an amazing spot.
Yeah. While we are talking about Deeks, I want to just go back because you did mention some of the blokes that you learnt off in the fishing club. Who were some of those names? I remember when we had Tim Barlow on, you messaged me a couple of days after, we were just talking about it before we press record, that you had all these guys that you were looking up to, and it made you smile to hear their names when Tim spoke about 100%. I remember, so who were some of those guys?
On that Tim Barlow podcast, he talked about the Estuary Challenge and the Nickel Bay Sports Fishing Club, and he mentioned Mark Cottrell's name, and he's one of the old legends in Karratha that, as we were coming up as juniors, he was the one to beat. He was the gun angler, and not just one, there was, Justin Neal, Juddo, Skirra, Brownie, Coddy, there's all Mick Grasso, Jason Hornhart. There's all these like gun anglers that when they were in their prime, we were just starting to come into the tournament scene. And these were the blokes that we're like looking up to, but fuck, we want to beat them. You know what I mean? And we were just so blessed and lucky to come through that club at that time when it was probably at its peak, and these guys were fishing so immensely, and they didn't have kids at that stage, so they were just always out on the water, and they were happy to share, you know what I mean? And when I say share, they never spoon fed us, but they always gave us enough info to be like, to get us on our way and to find out ourselves. You know what I mean? To go and happy to show us how to rig, happy to show us, certain things, but then point us in the right direction without telling us. to make us go out there and do it.
There's a great lesson in that, because since we started this podcast, and obviously we're putting information out there, giving you guys a platform to come and talk about this stuff, one of the core values that I kind of like to live by when we're doing this is we're allowing people to come and learn. You see them get shot down on fishing groups for asking questions and that sort of thing. But a good lesson for any grommet that's out there listening, or somebody that's new into fishing, it's you're not going to learn if you get spoon fed. If we tell you where to go, what lure to use, what tide, the spot and everything, you're not going to learn. But if you give them we give you a push in the right direction, you can take that information and go and try it, and nothing is going to beat the effort that you put in to actually get there. That's where the lessons are learned.
And the reward. I think if you get spoon fed something and you go out and do it, there's not much reward there. But if you've gone and nutted something out yourself, that's like the ultimate.
Yeah.
And when you go and I'm going to go chase this, I'm going to go to this spot, I think this will work, and you go there and you do it and you catch, you're like, fuck, that's
and you have that like you have that aha moment where that is burnt into your mind. You'll never forget that. Whereas if everything's spoon fed, it's kind of like I feel like you wouldn't remember it as well as,
Like what we talk about, similar thing that with like the best things are the hard at the time.
Yeah.
And then you look back on it and you go, fuck yeah, like I earned that. So you're looking back on those sort of trips. And a lot of the time the people that we get in here and sit them in the hot seat and say, what's the most important thing to tell a young guy? And it's like, just go time on the water. And you learn yourself, you learn what works for yourself, your style of fishing. But it is important to have those mentors and have people showing you different rigs or, pointing you in the right direction, giving you those little tips on the way, which is what we're about to do with the GTs.
Yeah. So I was going to get to GTs. We'll go there now. So we obviously put out those listener questions, and man, probably about like 70% of them were about GTs. Yeah, so tell me about your first GT that you got up there. What was that like? Or your first big one, maybe? Yeah. I'm sure you called it small ones.
I can definitely remember how it all started. So I know you're a bit of a stickler for the Western Angler. And I'm looking at the wall now and seeing some old copies of the Western Angler. There was a Western Angler, and I don't know if you've got all the copies. It was
we do.
There was one with Shay Carson. So
Carson. So that's shout out to Trey. So Trey's his son, and he's one of the boys from Less Ordinary.
Yeah,
right. The Less Ordinary podcast over east. So shout out to those boys. I know Trey.
He was working at Blue Water Tackle in Exmouth at the time with Gatesy.
Yep.
And the Japanese GT scene probably was going for a couple of years, and it was just starting to be introduced into Australia.
I think that cover's in that folder too.
Is it? It'd be cool to grab it out and see if it's there. But there's a photo of him holding this big banger on the beach at night, and it's a cracker. It's like a mid-30s fish. And I remember seeing that just going,
it's like shoulder high on him too. I remember he's wearing his sandals and he's like smiling ear to ear.
And just knowing that fish was caught just down the road, that really was like, I want to catch one of these. Yeah. And that's what kicked it off. And, talking to Gatesy, we'd met Gatesy before. He's a mate of ours from Exmouth, and he was just starting to get into the GT scene. He'd probably been doing it for a while before that article came out. And it was very hard to get good quality GT gear at that time because nothing like braid had only just started, and it was like that spider wire shit, it was absolute crap. Reels weren't up to standard. You couldn't buy a GT rod off the shelf. And Gatesy being a good rod builder, he was like, hey, I've custom built rods for myself. Do you want one? So we got Gatesy to build us these Calstar Blanks 700H. I'd probably call them like an all-round GT rod, but good quality, right? So we got these rods custom built. Right when the rods were built, the original Z Series Saltigas hit the market. So the dogfights, the original Z Series dogfights. So
got one of them.
Yeah, fucking love them. So Gatesy sold us one of them. Right when he sold us that, he was also one of the first importers of YGK braid from Japan.
Yep.
So that just hit the store. So he's like, hey, I can spool you up with this good quality braid. So we were very lucky when we first started. We got good quality tackle.
Timing was perfect.
And even lures and terminal tackle, you couldn't just go down to a tackle shop and buy a big popper. So again, Gatesy was bringing in, what's the name of them? Heru Cuberas, the Cubera poppers. I don't know if you've ever seen them.
Like a Cubera snapper.
Yeah, they weren't, but they were.
That's just what they were called.
Okay. You can still buy them today, and they're still a great popper. He was bringing them in, and so we bought these. He also brought in a stick bait, a Smith baby rumbo.
Yep. Love Smith lures.
Yeah, fucking amazing. So we got good quality tackle, we got good rods, we got good reels, and we just went out and started having a crack. A lot of donut days. Back then we were fishing in tinnies still, so we were restricted on where we could go. But I do remember we got out to a zone, fishing it, and weren't really catching anything. And I remember there was just me and Buzz, and we're like, fuck's out the back there? And we could see like a blow up, and we thought it was tuna, right? And we pushed out, and it's kind of in the mackerel ground. So we're fishing pretty deep. Like we're popping in 20 meters of water, and it was a big ball of fusiliers, and they were getting smoked by GTs. We didn't know at the time. I put a cast in on it, and it was like pop, and like 10 like fucking bulldozers just came up, smoked this popper. So my first GT was like a mid-30s banger.
No way.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it was probably my PB up until a few years ago, and that was my first fish. Like just and
how old were you?
Would have been like 16 or 17, I think.
Were you a developed teenager? Because
nah, fuck no, man. I was a little rude dog.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Yeah, it made me piss, man. And I remember when that fish hit the deck, we were just like, holy fuck. And that just that lit the flame, you know what I mean? And from then,
sick.
I've just had that hunger and the same as Buzz and same with the other boys I've fished with for just chasing those fish.
Yeah.
Yep.
Far out. So it's obviously developed over the years. Looking at your Instagram feed, you've got a lot of good G's. You've been over to Oman and caught them with the boys, with Panda and Sammy. Mate, what are some key things? So there was a lot of questions that came in, so I feel like we should include this as like a good segment of this podcast. What are some of the key things that people need to be aware of, whether it's tackle, tides, conditions, time of year, that sort of thing when it comes to GTs? Maybe round off 3 or 4 of your core things that you need to line up to have success on the Gs.
Start with tackle. You need good quality gear because they'll test you, you know what I mean? They'll find the weakest point. So good quality gear. And when I say good quality gear, like probably to what you can afford. You don't need to be out there buying $1,500 custom Japanese popping rods. But what I will say is buy the best you can afford. You know, there's been plenty of good fish caught on Saragosas and stuff like that. Like they'll do the job. Good quality rod. So your rod's going to be your best friend. You're going to spend the money. I would put more money into a rod than a reel.
Yep.
Because that's everything.
The other way around.
Nah, that is everything. The rod is everything in terms of castability, comfort, how you can work your lure.
Because you're putting a lot of casts in.
Oh, hundreds. Yeah.
How big? What sort of rod would you go?
Depends where you are and what you're throwing. I like around that 7'8" is probably a good size. And I've got custom specific stick bait rod, custom popper rod. You know, I've got a lot of gear, but you can just get a hybrid rod as well. So a rod that'll do both. You know, it'll chug a cup face popper, but it'll also work as stick bait. So there's plenty of rods on the market now, which when we first started weren't a thing. But if you were gonna spend the money, put your money into a rod over a reel. That would be one piece of advice I'd give. Second piece of advice, looking for bangers, and I'll just talk specifically about where I'm from, up in the Pilbara region.
Yep.
Tides and moon phase, massive. And I'm a bit of a believer of, like loose lip sink ships. I can't give exact info away because it's taken us so long to nut out. But I wouldn't rule a spot out if you go there and you don't catch a fish purely just because you didn't catch anything. I would then look at what was the tide, what was the time of year, and go back in, especially if it looks fishy but you don't produce, go back and do it on a different time of the year, go back and do it on a different tide or a different time of the day and, keep working it that way. So that's probably another bit of advice I'd give, just around really be dialed in on your tides and your moon phase and your time of year.
So yeah, it not necessarily is pulling up to a spot and going, oh, what works. Sometimes it's what's not working.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
There's a reason why that, like whether it's full moon or this or
100%.
that. Yeah.
Do you guys know who Chris Cleaver is?
Cleaver, East Coast fella, isn't he?
Yeah. Really, really good fisherman. I listened to a podcast that he did with Greg Vinyl on Australian lure fishing, and that was what you just said. Yep. He said the exact same thing. So he said, flip the tide, flip the moon phase. Yep. Try that, 100%. And then if you don't have luck on there either, try something in between.
And that was all the stuff we did for years. We'd get to a spot and like I talked about those fusiliers, right? So, I mean, there's no secret now in the GT fishing community that fusiliers are probably the 101 food for GTs. So you can find a big group of fusiliers, and we always call it like nervous bait or happy bait. You can rock up to a spot and it's just happy. There's all fusiliers shimmering on the surface and you're like, fuck, there's fusiliers here, but they're just happy, man. They're just freely swimming around.
They're not scared.
Exactly. So
I'd be scared if a big old GT came.
Yeah. So mental note, you wouldn't rule that spot off. It'd be like, we're here at the wrong time. So what's
the same, mate? It's so funny because the same thing, like Birchie gave us the same tip with fishing the creeks at Kununurra. He said if the mullet are out in the middle,
Yeah, they're happy.
No
man.
big fish there.
Yeah, no, they're not scared.
Happy
bait.
bait. And
Yeah.
what was the other?
Scared bait.
Scared bait.
Nervous, yeah.
Nervous
you know.
bait.
Happy bait.
And that's when they're
nervous bait.
Blue
fucking
water.
tight. They're real tight, and like you can hear them sometimes. Glass calm day, like you're popping away or you're fishing, and you hear like just a big like, and that's where they've just full like a fish has come up and scared them, and they just fucking bang like vibrate, you know.
Yeah.
And you're just like fuck there, boom, cast, and literally like pop, pop, boom, you just get
It's
smoked.
just making me want to put a cast in.
Yeah.
Cast them more
Yeah.
often. Yeah.
So
Oh,
yeah,
that's
it's just
wicked.
kind of being aware of what the bait's doing as well.
So, have you had more success casting at shallow reef or out in that deeper water,
Oh,
or it just
so-
depends where the bait is?
Good question, Lecker. That all depends for Dampier, and I'll share this info. It's all time of year. So
Yep.
certain times of the year we're fishing certain spots in the archipelago. Winter time we're normally fishing deeper water.
Yep.
Fishing deeper water because deeper water is warmer water.
Yep.
So
This relates to the Mackie stuff.
yeah. So in winter, when the fish are hard, like if you go and fish hard up in the structure, that 0 to 5 meter, water's cooler in there. GTs aren't in there. They're out in the warmer water. So we'll go and fish deeper reefs, and sometimes we're popping in like 25 meters of water.
Yeah,
and we're
right.
popping there like no one would go and think to do that, but keep working it, and you'll raise fish.
Key word. You're popping.
Yeah,
But you're using a popper because it's loud. It's making a lot
making
of
noise because the
it's
fish are deep.
teasing them up.
Fish are deep.
Gotcha.
They'll rise, and really pick that up. We were doing it before we went, but when we went to Oman, some of the spots we were popping 50 meters deep, fishing 50 meters of water
Wow.
and raising fish.
Wow.
Crazy.
Fuck,
wicked.
there's going to be some wicked clips from this episode already. I can
And there's
tell.
and that all depends on like water clarity, because you're trying to raise a fish. If you go out and fish in 30 meters of water and it's fucking murky green shit, so it's being
Yeah.
dialed in on conditions as well. But yeah, winter. So when we are fishing in deeper water because the water's warmer, and that's where the fish are. Summertime, we're normally fishing in closer to structure, shallower water. The bait's in there. The bait's normally nervous, and it's up hard. And when we're in those areas like that, so for me, if I am fishing shallower water and water's clean, I'll probably prefer a stick bait in that scenario. A lot of the times, if the fish are in shallow, unless they are super aggressive in feed mode, you throw a big popper in there in 2 meters of water and give it a big rip, they just spook.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Unless they're super aggressive. Sometimes they'll just be like, fuck you, I'm eating you, bang, and nail it, where a stick bait's a bit more subtle, it's a bit more realistic, and it's a bit more what they're chasing.
How's that?
Wow.
I
GT 101.
biggest GT I ever saw get landed was, I don't think you meant to fish there, the big pylons on the way out to the Monties.
Yep, yeah, the monopods, absolutely.
Are you're not meant to?
You're not meant to, but they're unmanned, so everyone does.
Yeah, it wasn't me. But yeah, I saw someone pull a big GT
big
off
popper,
that. Yep.
popping them up, because that's deep water too, right? They're in like
Yep.
30 meters of water. Absolutely.
I reckon a few of the boys up at work reckon they've seen him on the wharf at Port Hedland and Karratha and that.
The wharfs fish good. Yeah, we fish the wharfs as well. Yep. So
Yeah.
the ore wharfs, when we were kids, that's what we used to do. We used to rip around just at the salt wharf, Dampier salt wharf, great spot.
Yeah,
There's
right.
big GTs there, but brutal, because they're in tight on the structure.
Yeah, whether
you're
or not
pretty
you
much
can stop him is another
fucking
thing.
hitting the pylon with your popper and you get one pop, you're a meter away, and fucking 20 kilo banger climbs on, and it's just like reverse lock on the spool, and just, half the time they'll blow you away.
Yeah, right. Fuck, mate. Ryan actually messaged me before we went up to Karratha and said, mate, if you're coming through Karratha on the way back, I'll get you a GT. And now I'm kicking myself.
Yeah, we should have made time
But we
for
didn't
it, yeah.
drive.
Well, especially time of the year when you boys said you were coming up and it was looking November. For me, November is GT month in Pilbara.
Lock me in for 2026.
Fucking 100%. And
GTs and Barra.
And that's right. So they're my two like Barra in November and GTs in November. And I reckon there's a thing in that they both spawn that month. And I
Yeah,
say
okay.
that because the GTs we've done over the years in November, and it's either the new moon or the full moon in November is when we've had the best fishing. And that's the only time we've had them where the big black GTs, sometimes you get a lot of GTs that are silver, and sometimes you get big black GTs. Big black ones are males.
Yeah.
And we've literally had them where we've got them in the boat and put them up on a lap for a photo, and they're squirting jizz.
Yeah.
They're fat, big.
Oh, Rothy would fucking love it. He'd be under your lap.
Did you see actually?
Yeah.
God, did you boys see on my Instagram story the other day that Taylor
Yeah.
I pulled off that rail? Fuck, my best mate. He's not my best mate after this day, but Jeeves come out with me. I was like, oh fuck, look, this Taylor's jizzing all over me. And I tried to fucking squirt him a little bit, and he's fucking put his hand out, let me jizz all over his hand with this Taylor, and just wiped it straight over my face. That gun.
But yeah, that's the only time of the year that we've had that. And it's when it happens, a lot of like we do get pack attacks throughout the year occasionally, but that November time is where we've had like certain spots you pull up and it's normally the first or second cast in and like a group of like 20 will just raise and there'll be mix of like silver and big black ones in there and they're just like charging down, and you pull 2 or 3 fish out of that pack and then they'll shy off. And
okay.
I got a question for you with the GT fishing. I want to know how it works on your boat because the hardest thing for me whenever I've done it is who gets the first cast. And it's always like, I know I want to ask you about your boat and that as well soon, but it's everyone's straight to the bow and it's like one poor bastard's got to cast backhand and then the other person's in prime position. And it's like, it was when I went up with Deeks, it was me and Bunga and it was like a fight for best position. How do you figure that out?
Depends where we're fishing, Lecker, but a lot of the time, a lot of the GT fishing I do, I only do it with selected mates because it's close to my heart and I don't want to give a lot away, so we've all caught good fish, so it's kind of like, what, you cast left, I'll cast right, and we'll just go. Or if we're at a specific spot, like I said, if we found some fusies that are tied, or we've got a few areas where we fish a waypoint. Literally, we'll rock up neutral, see what way the drift is, what the wind doing. We'll get set up and we'll drift in and hit a waypoint. And that waypoint is like a pinnacle or there's a big ledge and they hold up there. So you're like, all right, you pull up and you're like, we're probably 2 casts away from hitting the spot. So you fuck around a little bit and wait for someone to have a cast. Oh, no fish. And then you wait again. Then you're like, right, go bucket bang and put a cast in and it's literally like you hit it on the nose, bang, bang, bang on.
Yeah.
Or unless we've got someone that hasn't caught one, it's like, all right, you go first.
You'll feed it to them.
Yeah, 100%.
How good is that? You mentioned like line class and stuff like that. You've got a few records.
Yeah. So I mentioned before the Nickel Bay Sports Fishing Club. It's a Australian National Sports Fish Association. It's one of there's only a couple of clubs that are affiliated with the Answer in WA. They're very big on the East Coast Queensland scene. But those guys that I mentioned before, those old boys, their bread and butter fishing is this line class style fishing. And it's a bit of a dying breed. You don't see many of the young junior anglers doing it much anymore. And it's not something that's common. You don't see it on YouTube. You don't see it on social media, but it's probably some of the best captures I've ever seen and most enjoyment I've got out of my fishing has been line class fishing. Like some of the highest highs, like high fives, fucking hugs on the boat, adrenaline have been from line class captures because it's so hard.
Yeah.
And so line class fishing is basically trying to catch the biggest fish you can on the lightest line possible that you can. And the line that you guys are sometimes dropping down to can sometimes make that really difficult. And I guess the thing with a lot of people these days, it's like you have to catch the biggest fish. And like what you said, it might not be the biggest fish you've ever caught, but it's on the lightest line or whatever, which could potentially make it a record for you. So it's about challenging yourself in different ways.
Yeah. And that's where I think I've learned a lot in terms of angler skill has been from fishing line class. And like you said, like a lot of you see a lot of the fishing scene at the, it's YouTube, it's Instagram, all the shit, the biggest fish. Yeah, cool.
Biggest reaction.
100%. Yeah. Where the line class fishing, like you said, it might just be a little golden trevally, but you've caught that on 1 kilo and it was so hard to get, but when you see it, you're like, oh, it's not that impressive. But as an angler or anyone that was a part of that capture, you're like, fucking hard.
Yeah.
You talk angling ability.
Yeah.
What do you mean by angling ability? This is how to use your gear, how to use your 100%. Drag properly.
So I think like I was only just talking about it with Lath Rickman yesterday. I dropped some reels off to Lath to get some reels done and they're all my line class reels. So these are reels that I'd bought, sent them over to the late Jack Erskine. So he used to own a workshop over in the East Coast that customized reels. So you'd send a reel over to him. It was say a Calcutta Conquest 100 stick reel. He would strip it apart, machine the cams, adjust the increments, take the line guide off, like fully set this thing up as a custom 1 kilo rod so you can cast it. And also, so each click of your drag, you're only going up in like 20 gram increments because you're only fishing 1 kilo, you're fishing 330 grams of drag, right? So you preset that drag. And if you're fighting a fish, you can go to 1 kilo, but then it's going to snap. Then you got to take in like, all right, water inertia, speed of how fast the fish is going. All these things come into play, the wind, the drift, like if the boat's pushing away from that fish, so many things. And, you've got that reel that's like, all right, I'm at 330. I'm like, I'm going to go to 380. I'm going to go to 400. But then you know where you are. If that fish goes to take off, you're like, all right, 3 clicks and I'm back to set drag, like all these little things.
But you're dialing it in to
100%.
the gram.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
And when you get to that level,
technical.
it's fucking hard and skillful, but so rewarding.
This all makes sense why, like when you say the best anglers you've ever met, and there's some of the names that Ryan's talked about here, it makes total sense now.
Yeah.
When you're actually consciously thinking about these things while you're fishing, the learnings that you can take from that would be incredible.
And they're all pushing each other as well.
Yeah.
You know, they got a good sport fishing club up there, but they've got the species as well to go along with it, and then challenging each other, trying to get records and all that sort of stuff. I'm telling you, it is.
We might get a couple of death threats,
eh?
Because we're talking about what sounds to be.
Well, I think the fishing.
like
well, the fishing is what it is. No, the fishing is what it is, but that doesn't make it necessarily why the best anglers come out of there. It's the culture and the stuff that you guys are talking about now. So, the line class thing, you know, like the variety of what you get, the different times a year, like trying to pick up on all this stuff, the people that came before you, that is why I believe it's home to some of the best anglers that I've ever met. So not necessarily just because of the place. You could go there and have the shittest fishing trip of your life and get done by sharks the whole time and all the rest of it. But if you don't know what to look for, then
and that line class stuff that I talk about, I probably talk exclusively about the ultralight. So that's kind of say 3 kilo, 2 kilo, 1 kilo, specifically because our fish aren't big. And I'll say not big in terms of like, you compare it to Exmouth, we can go and catch big blue marlin, you know, big yellowfin, all that, using heavier gear, right? Where our sports fishery, a fish over 7 kilo is really going to be a cobia, a Spaniard, or a GT. Everything else sub 7 kilo, we've got a massive range of species. So that's why we fish those ultralight line classes, because you can go and target a 7 kilo fish on 1 kilo line. Fucking hard, but you can do it. And, you know, like I said, learning from these older guys and then refining our own craft and skill, we got to a point where we were catching, you know, like say a tournament, you know, you might get 15 species for that tournament. We're literally catching 7 of them on 1 kilo, like queenfish, golden trevally. We're catching mackerel on 1 kilo. We're catching barracuda on all these different species on 1 kilo.
Yeah.
And then when we went down and fished GameX, we started fishing the GameX tournament, which is the
this
line
was
class
my
tournament.
next question.
Oh, do you want me to go into it?
No, yeah, please go into it, because you've obviously.
We got down there and we've got, like I said, we got all these custom built rods, custom machined reels. We've got all this shit set ready to go, and went and fished and got down to the weigh-in, and some good fish getting weighed in, and big golden trevally weighed on 1 kilo. Like, nice fish. Queenfish weighed on 1 kilo. Fuck, that's nice. But then nothing else got weighed on 1 kilo. Looking at it, what the fuck's going on here? And then I remember looking at the weigh-in, it was like 200-pound swivel with like 200-pound leader and a 8.0 hook, and the fucking hook was bent, but they caught it on 1 kilo, you know, and I'm like, fuck. And all they're doing, they're burleying fish up, right? Big golden trevallies coming up and eating, and they're just handlining this motherfucker and boom, in.
Yeah.
But they can only do that for fish that will eat burley right there. Goldens, queenies, that's it, you know. So we went out and we were catching like mackerel, we were weighing in like casting lures on 1 kilo and weighing in all these species, and they're kind of like, how the fuck you boys doing that? And we're like, well, like we're casting, we're trawling 1 kilo, and they're like, you can't fucking trawl 1 kilo. We're like,
yeah, you can.
Yeah, of course you can, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. We were scrutinized, we got like, people like, nah, we're, you know, called bullshit on it and all sorts of shit, you know. The first couple of years at GameX, we were fucking hated.
Yeah, right. So how'd you navigate that?
I think it was just
the negativity, but like I think it's important to talk about.
I think it was just more, we just earned a bit of respect down there, you know, like, and we shared a bit of it. There's some guys down there saying, well, how the fuck are you doing that? I was like, well, come and have a look at the reels we're using. I can see what you're using. You're using like a Kmart combo with a piece of shit spin reel. Like you can't fish 1 kilo on spin, right?
Yeah.
All these things. And we started showing, here, look, this is what we got. And I would like grab a lure on and be like, yeah, watch this fucking bang, and bust out like a 30-meter cast. And they're like, fuck, like, you know, they hadn't been shown that, you know what I mean?
You just had everything dialed into
just on the boat, which we'd learnt from other people, you know?
Yeah.
To me, if anyone should have got scrutinised out of the 2 types of anglers, it's the people that are using the heavy terminal tackle to pull in a fish on 1 kilo.
Yeah, exactly. When you're explaining that, I didn't think you were going to say what you said.
1 kilo is the main line.
1 kilo is your breaking strain, correct?
Yeah. So you can actually fish a heavy leader and all.
Yeah, you can fish whatever you want. You can fish wire if you want. You know?
And if you can get a hand on that.
4.5 meters.
So you've got 4.5 meters. So that's a fair bit as well.
Yeah. And you know, like golden trevally, you can burl him up 2 meters of water and they're just dumbing around.
Yeah.
So if you fed that out and your leader's past your rod tip, you can grab it. by the rules, you know.
So
what I mean?
do you have to get a wind on it? Not even.
The rules state that the fish has to have a fighting chance.
Okay.
So to us, that's actually running.
Yeah.
That's not just you're still on anchor and the leaders come back up the burley try and you grab it. That fish has to have a chance. So and sometimes that happens. Sometimes you'll feed a fish and it's just still mooching around and you're like, oh, that's not right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As soon as it runs off and that leader's gone and you're actually on your main line, you throw your boy over and you start chasing it. It's like, well, now it's had its chance. If I go and catch that fish, it's done, you know?
Gotcha.
Mate,
Yeah.
There's an art
There's
to
a lot
it.
to it, yeah.
There is, and there's sportsmanship to it, you know. You know what's right and you know what's wrong.
Yeah.
Especially if you're fishing comps and stuff
Correct.
like that. What's your favourite fish on line class? Well, record or whatever. What have you got?
My favourite, there's so many good ones. I like catching cobia. Cobia on line class, you got to fucking earn it. They're tough. You know? They don't make many mistakes. You got to earn it. Longtail tuna, another really good one as well. They don't make mistakes. You got to beat them.
Yeah.
And like literally one of the best captures I've ever seen was Brenton Cartledge, one of my good mates, Buzz. We were fishing death knock on we won this tournament from this fish. Death knock on day 3. Day 4 was going to be a write-off. Forecast for 40 knot winds, right? We knew that was going to be a write-off. We knew we were close to the win. Literally, sun was setting, put a live bait out, bang, got a bite on sunset. Fuck, tuna, perfect. It ran up on the surface. We could see it trucking through the waves. Cool, sweet, we're chasing this fucking thing. We got an old fella that fishes with this gazza. Really good boat driver. Doesn't know anything about line class fishing, but froths it. He's on the wheel. So I'm up the front of the boat, starting to get rough, probably 15 knots of wind. I've got a spotty in one hand. I've got an 8-foot gaff in one hand. I'm holding onto Buzz's back. He's leaned up on the front of the boat fighting this fish. 2.5 hour fight on 3 kilo, chasing this longtail. And these things, they just don't die.
Yeah.
Bruising through and we're fucking yelling at Gaz. I'm holding the spot hard left, hard right. And he's probably doing 8 knots, like fucking burner.
Yeah.
2.5 hours, man. This thing just pops out. And I remember like locking my knees into the bow, leaned over like big Hail Mary, fucking bang, got him on the deck. And that was just one of the like hugs, high five.
Yeah, the boys.
Yes. You know, like one of the like, holy fuck. And that fish won us the comp.
How good.
And that's what I was talking about. It was only a 13 kilo tuna, but just an amazing capture and experience.
It doesn't matter. It's not what it means to everybody else. It's what it means to you in the moment.
It was fucking good.
How good.
And you're backing down and chasing it like you after 1,000 pound bloody
Exactly.
marlin.
That's exactly right. And because we don't get 1,000 pound marlin, that's how we get our highs. You know what I mean? And I'll probably lead into this now, like, because I think you've experienced this about what we have in our archipelago and highs and chasing adrenaline is shark fishing.
Yeah, I've got another point for that too.
Oh, yeah.
I've got a dot point about a
that.
350 kilogram hammerhead that apparently made you piss.
Yeah. So you want me to lead into that now?
Go
So,
nuts, mate. Yeah.
So with these tournaments, like I said, it's a species tournament. One of each species, the highest point scoring of each species counts to your total accumulation of your bag. So I could go out and catch 10 Spaniards, but only the highest point scoring of that Spaniard is going to count.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So it's wasted time.
Correct. Yep. So it's a bit of a strategy on, all right, we've got a good one. Is it good enough? Are we happy with that? Do we move on or do we try and upgrade? So there's a lot of strategies that come into place, but sharks are one of those species. And early days, we were allowed to gaff them. We're allowed to kill them. Obviously, like not anymore with the greenies and all the bullshit, but there's a point formula for a fish. So it's the weight of the fish times 100 divided by your line class. That's how you get your points. Now with the sharks, they were half. They were by 50. So you could go out and catch a real big shark on light line and it was fucking big points.
Yep.
So we got really good at catching sharks and like Deeks, amazing shark fisherman. There was some crew in there that really nailed down their shark fishery and our club specifically spent years really fine tuning it. And to the point where like, the Pilbara, it's a very sharky place, but we found out how to go and target individual species of sharks. So amongst all the whaler sharks, it's like we know how to go and just say, I'm going to catch a tiger shark or I'm going to go get a hammerhead or I'm going to go get a whaler shark. And we spent years doing it and it's the rush of a big fish. It's like that 1,000 pound marlin, but a big tiger shark. And we're just letting them go, but it's just fun. It's leadering a big shark is fucking an adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
Mate, well, and so I went up there and did it a couple of years in a row with Deeks and same thing. It was my first sort of introduction into catching something that big.
Yep.
And it was wicked. All the stand-up gear, and you anchored up at night and then like sometimes with the hammerhead, you'll see the actual hammerhead come in on the boat.
Hit the burley pot.
So they'll come in first. And like you said, like specifically like being able to target different types of sharks is also another talent as well.
Yeah.
So he'd be like, oh, we'll go and catch a tiger shark. We'll go over here. And then, oh, all right, we'll get a hammerhead. Mate, my cousin, I reckon, fought a hammerhead for like 4 or 5 hours into the morning one day. And same thing. He was tagging lots of them.
Tagging them. And we're looking after them. You know, we're using circle hooks. A lot of the time we've even crushed a barb on the circle hook. Like, we're looking after these fish because they are such an impressive animal. When you get it up, you're like, fucking hell, that's so cool. Couple of photos, get the hook out, may even give it a bit of a swim if you need to, and off it goes.
The welding gloves and everything like that. It was the old school. And even just trying to grab the leader and get a fish in. It was that much fun. It's cool.
I've only done a little bit of it. Anton and I, one of my good mates, go fishing with a lot, works at Complete. We got a big bronzy off the beach last year, casting spin. Nice. That absolutely hurt him, but got in the water with it. Had my camera housing with the dome port, got a sick under-over photo of it. Like, it was wicked. I know exactly how you feel.
Deke's got a really good photo. Did you see that one with Leachy? It was a year, I can't remember what year it was, but a dead whale. There was a dead whale up in the Pilbara.
I heard the story.
And it washed in near a beach and sunk. So it wasn't floating, it was sunk. And Deke's got the heads up on it. They went and fished it. I think over 2 days, they just fished it. Yeah, 2 consecutive days, and they tagged 50-something tiger sharks off this thing. And then they got this monster, like 1,000-pound fish, like high 400s, huge tiger. And because it was close to a beach, they actually just towed it into the beach, anchored the boat, and jumped out and like manhandled this thing. And there's a photo.
I've seen that photo.
Leachy and Deeks holding this like fucking 1,000-pound tiger shark, and its head's it's epic. And they swam it and released it. It was sick.
I've seen that photo. Yeah, that was weird. We did something similar at the Monties when we caught a tiger with him as well.
Brought him in and manhandled it. It was cool, eh?
Yeah. Hey, Rothy mentioned the one slapping you in the face. Is that?
Yeah, so that was that big hammerhead. Yeah, is that the one we're talking about?
Buzz said it was pretty much on your boat. Tail whacked you through the window of your boat.
So this was probably, I don't know by weight if it was the biggest shark I've ever caught, because I reckon I've caught tiger sharks bigger, but this was definitely the biggest shark by length.
Yep. They are long, aren't they? Because that one that I was in the water with at Fads earlier this year, that was probably only maybe a 60, 70 kilo hammerhead, but fuck, it was long.
Yeah. So this was a great hammerhead, and the tournament had sanctioned no more killing sharks. So this was a couple of years later, and it was just a tagged fish. So we just wanted to catch one, tag it. Hopefully it was fucking this big, set a bait out. And back then we got a tag 115 kilo line class now just to try and even the playing field. But when we first started, you're allowed to use open tackle. So you could use whatever you want, 60 kilo, 37, whatever. So we were just using big blue marlin reel, 37 kilo, put a bait out, rolled the swags, went to bed. And I'm laying up in the cab, and this, Tiagra 80 wide just starts going off in an alley boat in the gun. And I'm like, bed, and I'm fucking, this thing's going and going. And I fucking get up out of bed, and I'm like, oh, you can't fucking put it up to strike. And my mate, because it's like day 3, you cooked. He's like, it's been on sunset, cunt, for the last 2 minutes. He just laid down his swag and just buttoned it up. And this thing is just, and I'm like, fuck, get up. So we're like,
so he's just cranked the lever.
He's just laid down his swag and just put it to sunset.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. 18 kilos or whatever it is a drag. And this thing's like
full in line.
Man, like 3 minutes, like fucking 3/4 of spool was gone. By the time we got the anchor, I was like, fuck. And so got it, started going, and got the spotties on, and everyone fucking woke up. It's like 3 a.m, burn around. Probably an hour into the fight, it started going up into the shallows, up into this bay, and I got the spotty out, and I'm shining around. I'm like, fuck off. And this dorsal would have been, shit you not, probably as high as to the bottom of that bullhead. Like,
so
it was
about close to probably 1.5, 1.8 meters.
It was fucking huge.
That's the thing with greater hammerheads too. They've got a massive dorsal.
The peck and the dorsal on those things. And then like I shined and I could see the dorsal, and then I shined the gap between there and the tail, and I'm just like,
it was huge.
Holy fuck, boys, have a look at this thing.
Yeah.
And we got it up closer, and Buzz is on the leader, and he's looking at me, and he's like, fucking nervous for this one.
And he's a big boy too.
He is a fucking human bollard, man. I have seen him wrap up on fucking big marlin, big sharks, and he doesn't give a fuck. And this one, he was like, fucking a bit nervous about this one.
Yeah, right.
So anyway, I was like, we'll get one shot at this with the tag, boys. Let's just, Buzz, you just do your best, man. Hold it. If you got to dump it, let it go. I'll just come out and we'll hit it. All good. Yep, no worries. And it come into the boat. It just changed because they change angles real fast. They'll whip around on themselves, and this thing kind of was just trucking alongside the boat, and we were pinching him up, and then it just done this like 90-degree, came into the boat. I hit neutral. The leader pops up. Buzzer grabs it, and it went under the boat and got its head wedged between the transom and the motor.
Oh,
so it came in under the boat, which was good because it held it up for a bit. I was in my cab. So we're in a 7.5 meter Noble Super V. So I'm on the driver's seat, hanging my arm out the window there at the transom, and the tail came up through the windscreen, smashed me in the face, blew all the clears in, wet the fuck out of everything, and its head was wedged in the motor.
No way.
Whoa, the way that Brenton described it, I thought as if it was like on the gunnels, its head was sort of on top of the motor, not underneath.
Nah, it was like wedged in there, and when its tail come up, what my mate was, he dropped the rod, grabbed the tag pole and hit it in the tail as it was out of the water, got the tag in its fucking tail.
Wow.
Yeah, and this thing landed back in the water, come to and turned, and Buzz has got the leader, and as it went away, it just bent out the hooks. I think we're using like 10-0 Jobus and just went, just straighten the hooks out, fuck, gone.
Wow.
So that's a good indication as to how.
Well, that's how we kind of estimated. We're like, fuck, that's like 3.5, 3.8 short, you know, and then you probably got a meter of tail, like, and on the chart said about 350 kilo. I don't know, might have been 400.
Yeah, unless you're
for a hammerhead, that is fucking huge, man. That is like the head was like as wide as that table. It was fucking
Any
massive.
Injuries?
Nah, it was all good.
Just got a good slap.
Yeah, just lucky
Fuck
to
you.
Yeah, but yeah, and then after that, we just like, because we were so high on adrenaline, it was like 5 a.m. by then. We're like, oh, let's just keep going fishing, roll the swags and let's go.
How good's that?
Mental.
How good's that? Yeah, mate. Yeah.
But seen some
wicked.
big tigers as well. We had some real big tigers, especially at the Monties.
Yep.
Yeah, had some like borries out there, like 400 plus. Exmouth GameX, we caught some real big ones.
Yeah.
Me and Leachy, I think it was the second year we fished GameX. So me and Trav fished the first year. Leachy jumped on with us the second year. And it was like night 4 or 5. We've been shark fishing every night. And Leachy, you know, he's just a weapon, man. He hates sleep. He fucking hates sleep. And me and Trav are passed out and Leachy's there, and he put a long-tail tuna out, a whole tuna, like 10 kilo tuna out for bait on like 8 kilo line. You know, we're trying to gaff one. This is when we could gaff him. And he reckons he was sitting there banging the pot, and he's like, we used to put glow sticks inside the balloons. So you
you can see where your balloon is. Yep, done that.
And he reckons he didn't know if he was like hallucinating and wigging out because he's so tired, but he's like, fucking balloon's moving. And I'm on the deck, Trav's in the cab. He's like, fuck, wake up, we're on. I'm like, fuck. And just as I was getting up, the balloon's literally like past the boat. He's like, fuck, we're on here. So we're like, Trav, get up, drop the anchor. Fucking, so I hadn't even hooked this thing yet, you know. And we hooked it. And we got up on top of it. And Leachy's like, yeah, I'm tight. But this thing didn't even know it was hooked, man. It just had hold of this fucking tuna. And I remember we're on the inside of the reef at Ningaloo, and we're like cruising along. We're only in like 3 meters of water. And I'm looking with the torch, and I'm like, where the fuck is this thing? Like, we're right on top. We should see it. But then my eyes adjusted, and we realized like the torch is on it. What we're looking at, where we thought was reef, was the shark.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I remember like running the torch down it and then looking at the tail, and we were looking at how far the tail was moving. Leachy was on the rod, and I just seen him look at me, and he's just like, fuck. Like, this thing is a submarine.
Yeah.
And I was on the leader. And
We got to do it.
And it doesn't even know it's fucking hooked. I'm like, righto. And Travis, I was like, get the gas ready, man. This is going to happen real quick. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen quick. Yeah, righto. Double gloved, welding gloves on. I'm like, fucking pumping myself up, fucking punching myself. Here we go.
Run through a brick wall.
Yeah, man. And the leader popped up, and I fucking grabbed this thing and I fucking yanked on it, and it turned its head up, and just the tuna just came out its mouth. It wasn't even hooked. It just had hold of it. Just had hold of it, and this thing just fucking swam off.
Wow.
Fuck. So we're a bit bummed. We're like, fuck, we lost this fucking thing. But Leachy's like, it's all good, man. That thing will come back and eat. No worries. This will come back and eat. Righto. So we went back, hooked back up. The burley pot was still attached to the anchor line, so it was still burling. Jumped on the anchor, set it out. Literally as he was setting it out. Yep, we're away. Here we go. We're on again, boys. Right.
Yeah,
So boom. Got it, fought it. Probably 20-minute fight. Leader pops up, grabbed it, bang. There was another shark. It was another like 200 kilo tiger. Wasn't even the big one. Yeah. So we got him. But yeah.
Part of fishing, I reckon, like you mentioned it, is looking at your mate when you get something massive and just seeing their face change.
Yeah.
And when you know that your mate knows what he's doing and what he's talking about, and you see them go,
Two of the boys, so funny actually. So Chris Vigor and Chris Finnegan, two boys that listen to the potty, mates of mine, they have a little clothing brand that they've started amongst their friend group, and it's called Seeing Ghosts, because that's what it is. That's what it's based off. Like, you look at your mate and it's like, it looks like he's just seen a ghost.
I love that.
Sick.
I want to ask you a little bit about your boat.
Yeah.
Because you have done one thing you notice when you go to the Pilbara as well is you see how many rod holders people have on their boats. Is like, be like 50 rod holders on the top of a boat, and it's because of line class and all that sort of stuff. But you built a 7.5 meter alley on the East Coast.
East Coast, yep. So it's a Svensson.
Gotcha. I'm not familiar with those boats.
Yep. So Cole Svensson, he's been building boats for, maybe 30 years now. Originally started as fisher boats, family run and owned business. He went into business with another partner and they started building Origin boats. Yep. That partnership went sour. He got the plans back and is now building Svensson boats. Father and son operation, two sons, an apprentice and him. That's it.
Gotcha.
They do one boat per person at a time. So Cole's the manager. The two boys are on the sticks and the apprentice helps. So a boat each per lad. And now we'll build that from start to finish. No one else will touch that boat.
Wow.
Every single weld from start to finish, one person. And just rock solid.
Pride going in.
100%. Yep, 100%. Yeah. So
is that a lot of that what sold you on going with them?
100%. I'll rewind it a bit. I'll just go back to my last boat I had was a 7.5 meter Noble Super V. Amazing boat. Like they are probably one of the nicest riding alley boats I've ever been in. But it had its flaws. It was built to survey. Didn't have like the fuel capacity that I wanted.
Yep.
It didn't have full windows, so it had like half windows and then clears. And because we're always fishing in the raft and tournaments, like clears are fucked. I always leak the shit, you know. So it's just a couple of little things that I'm like, if I was going to build a boat, this is what I'd do, you know. And so all the years of fishing, I'm like, if I ever build a boat, you know, do this. And I had this list in my head of what I wanted. And yeah, just got to a point in my life where I was in a position and the missus was supportive. She's like, fuck it, it's what you do. It's what you love. Do it. So I started researching and I was pretty much open to go with anyone, you know what I mean? So I really narrowed it down, bit of a spreadsheet going with like, you know, price, design, build a relationship, you know, and
all deep dive.
Yeah, 100% because I didn't want to fuck it. And it got to the point where Cole was the number one. Quote was good. He was real keen. A lot of boat builders were a bit skeptical about the customization.
Yeah.
You know, when I'm asking them like, fuck, I want to put like 900 litres of fuel. I want to do this. And they're like, nah, mate, I'm not fucking doing that. Where Cole was like, yeah, 100% within its reasons. You know, like we got to get it architecturally approved. But he's like, you want max fuel? Fuck, no worries. Yeah, you want a custom do hardtop? No worries. Yeah. So that's why I went with Cole. And that was the only reason why.
Well, for anybody that's listening that might be curious on this boat, the Captain Mag did a really cool write-up on your boat when it was brand new, didn't they? How long ago was that?
Well, I got it just before COVID. So I think the Captain jumped on in January.
Gotcha.
By the time it got shipped around, I was towing it home in March and I think the world went to shit like start of April or something.
Good time to buy a boat really when you're talking prices.
So if you type in Ryan Turner 7.5 meters Svensson, which is what I typed in prior to this episode, just to do a bit of research, it'll come up. You can have a look. There's some epic photos showing it on the plane and full turning.
For me, it was kind of like I needed it to be able to be trailable because Cyclone's up in the Pilbara. You need to be able to put it in the shed. So for me, it was trailable. It was big enough that it was comfortable when it turned to shit and got rough. It still needed to tick the box as a family boat, so it needed a cab. It needed to be able to do light line. It needed to be able to do top water. It needed to be able to go do heavy tackle marlin fishing in Exmouth. It needed to tick a lot of boxes. So I designed it to cater for all. It's not a specific marlin fishing boat, but it's not a specific line class fishing boat, but it's capable of doing everything.
It's a walk around, isn't it?
Walk around, yep. So you got that 360 fishability, but you can still sleep two in the cab. My girls can get up in there and sleep. They got shelter. Fridge freezers. I got 750 litres of fuel, twin donks, good electronics.
Does it come in under 3.5 ton?
No. Initially, that's what I wanted, but kidding myself.
Yeah.
As I know, I don't tow it with the cruiser, so if the heavies are listening, if they see me, they'll get me. But it's probably 4 ton loaded, I reckon.
Yeah, so that's loaded with fuel. Loaded. If you strip it right back,
it's under. And that was the main thing why I'm happy. Like if I ever binned it and they wanted to weigh it, I could get it under 3.5 and I'll be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, good looking boat. Mate, the other thing that I wanted to ask you about and something that I was actually unaware of on your list of fishing achievements was, I don't know how much you're going to want to talk about this, but Dogtooth Tuna.
Love doggies.
Have you cracked them out of home?
Off Dampier, yep.
Wow. How much do you want to talk about that? Or like what made you think, actually we'll narrow it down. I don't want to put you in this awkward position, but what made you think I'm going to go out and target a doggy?
All right. So there is a fishery off Dampier and I reckon it is. It's the most southern limit in WA where there's residential dogtooth.
Gotcha.
It's not easily accessible. It's a fucking mission. People do know about it. It's not a secret.
I feel like I know where it is.
You would do. But a lot of people talk about, oh yeah, they're there. But to actually go and do it, there's only a few people that would get out there and do it properly to catch them.
Yep.
Gotcha.
The reason I know they're there, so that the Dampier Classic, years ago, it used to be an open tournament, as in there was no regulation on how far you can fish. Right now, it's 100 nautical mile from the game fishing club. So you draw a radius and you have to fish within 100 nautical mile limit.
Gotcha.
Years ago, old school days, it was open to anything. Right?
As long as you're back for weighing, you're all good.
So for 4-day comp, some guys used to come up and hire a charter boat, and they go to the Monties for 4 days and just weigh in on the last day. Yeah. And one year they weighed in Dogtooth Tuna.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And I was like, fuck, I was only a little grommet back then, but I remember it, you know, and I remember talking to them. They talked about this spot. Fuck, righto. So people know they're there, but to actually crack the code to catch them and catch them with consistency, probably did 3 trips out there for donuts before I cracked how to catch them. And there is a specific way to do it. There is a specific time of the year, you know, all those things have to be in play to get them, but they are there.
Yeah, right.
And
how big are they?
There's a few videos on YouTube. So if you Google Tim McDonald, you know, one of Australia's best Spiro, fucking amazing, right? So
great YouTube channel.
100%. Yep. So he's gone out there with one of my good mates, Lee Mitchell from Exmouth, who is also
chumming up
gun
podcast.
Fucking, yep.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'd love to get Lee on.
Yeah, wicked, man. Him and Squirrely would be fucking, that'd be a wicked yarn.
Yeah.
Again, amazing Spiro. And he holds a lot of info close to his heart for a similar reason to me, but he knows a lot. Ex-commercial fisherman, mad Spiro, and they've done some really cool shit out there at that spot spearing them. I think their best fish is up around 40 kilos.
Yep.
And they held on to those videos for years, which they were obviously happy in a position to release that information. So it's out there now.
Yeah, I think that's what Tim launched his YouTube channel with. Hey,
correct.
Those
but
videos.
that video is probably 8 years old.
Yep.
And they've had like great whites out there. They've been in the water when like big great whites came up to them out there. Like it's a fucking amazing spot. When it's on, it's the best fishing I've ever done in the Pilbara. It's just a different world out there, you know what I mean? And in terms of species of what we get in Dampier compared to what you get out there, like you get yellowfin with consistency, you get black trevally, you get bluefin trevally, you get dogtooth. Like it's just that almost like outer continental,
international waters, sort of tropical Scott Reef stuff.
100%. So they're pretty much the same species you get at the Rolly Shoals are almost what you catch there.
Yeah, wow.
Yep.
Amazing.
But it's a fucking mission. It's a fucking mission. 180K straight run from Dampier.
What was it like getting your first one? You would have been over
wicked,
the moon,
man. And it's hard because it's sharky. It's a sharky spot. And it's sharky not because of the pressure that people put on it. It's sharky because it's healthy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, if the food's there,
100%
there, right?
Yeah. So I've had sessions where like you have to drive away because you're just feeding the shark. You know you're hooking doggies, but you're never going to get them. You're just getting sharknadoed, you know.
Yeah.
But we had a trip out there where the fucking stars aligned, and it was a new moon in summer, and the sharks were there, but they just weren't in feed mode. And we put 9 doggies on the deck in a session.
Wow, there you go. That's the only info that I'm going to push Ryan to give us.
For local waters, that's fucking unreal.
So what pulls harder, a G or a doggy, or is it different?
It's different, eh? So when we went to Scott Reef, we were jigging good dogs. Best doggy on jig we got was about a 38 kilo fish.
Yep. And
then my mate got about a 35 kilo banger on a jig, and we were calling that for a doggy, you know? So I think on jigs, that'd be very hard, but I think top water, I reckon a banger would go harder.
Yeah.
Yep. But deep water, they're a fucking animal, man. Dogtooth are fucking animals.
Yeah.
They're strong.
They're a Mackie, aren't they? They're part of the Mackie family.
They're a bonito.
Are they?
Yeah. Yep.
They taste any good on the tube?
Amazing. Yeah, I'll
right.
put them right up there with yellowfin tuna. They're fucking awesome.
I caught one out off Darwin. We went
at the Timor box. They've got
more boxes. Yeah.
Yep.
That's where I did a trip there with a few mates for me mate Budgie's Bucks party. Like 4 days or however long. I only got a small one, but we had it ceviche.
Yeah.
And I ate so much of it, I made myself crook. But it was so good.
Yeah. So one of my mates, he'd never caught a doggy before, and he was hit there for that session. And I let him go first. We trawled first to mark them. So we always put a minnow in first, and it's one waypoint at this spot. You know, it's a big area, but they are at one waypoint. They're on one specific edge, and that's where they hold up, and they're residential there. And we got there at the right time. put a lure in, mark them around, and they mark so well. They're just big fat blobs because they got such a big swim bladder, unmistakable on the sound.
Would it be able to go up and down the way that they do? You see that the way that they fight when they've got a spear in them, they just go straight down, don't they? Take like 2 or 3 floats from some of these spearos.
So we went over and we marked them. I'm like, fuck, hit our boys, pull the minnow in, let's go. I was like, you drop first. And he dropped and he got a 17 kilo fish, first fish, which is a cracker. For Dampier, it's a cracker. And the fish before that, he probably got a 25 kilo Spaniard. And that hardly pulled drag on the fucking PE8 jigging rod that I had for him. And this doggy, 17 kilo doggy, would have dumped 35 meters on the first run. Yeah. And then when he got it up, he's like, is that it? It's like, yeah, no shit. And they fucking pull.
Yeah, right. Yep. No comparison, really. It's just different.
Well, and it's the same thing as what we keep talking about. It's like, particularly anglers down here, it's like pick a species, set yourself a challenge, go out there and actually try and target it, try and learn about it and try and do it. I feel like.
Yeah. And that was on my hit list for a few years. Like it was that box I wanted to tick.
Yeah.
And, went and did it and then kind of went back the following year and had that hell session. I'm like, yeah, cool. That's ticking the box.
Have you been keeping up to date with everyone getting their swordfish down here?
Yeah, that was wild. That season they had was wild. Yeah.
Yeah. It's something that interests you?
100%. And we've spoken about it and we could do it from home, but it would be about a 220K run one way to get. You have to do it off the back of the Monties. And they've caught them there off the back of the Monties. But yeah, for us on a trailer boat, it would probably be like one day, get to the Monties, park up, the next day, go out, do it. And to have the fuel to do that, you'd probably only get one shot.
Need a giant bladder, eh?
Yeah, 100%. But doable.
Well, I reckon from what I've seen, a lot of the ones up at Exie and stuff are a bit smaller. It seems they grow a lot bigger in the colder water.
Yeah.
Although saying that, I feel like the state record was for me.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's 100. I was actually talking to one of the young fellas' mates. I think it was Mrs. Old Man. Has the state record. I think it's 148 kilos.
48, yeah. They've caught some good ones in Exie, but I've got a mate that's an ex-commercial fisherman. He worked on a sword and tuna boat out of Esperance for years, and he was saying exactly that. They talk by trunk weight.
Yeah.
And he said the average trunk weight was always the biggest south, so off that Esperance area. Okay. And they did come up and fish. They fished all the way up to wide of Port Hedland, but the trunk size got smaller, but the numbers increased.
Gotcha. There's more up there.
More up there, but smaller. Yep.
Maybe they go up there and where they sort of grow up, they come down with the current.
I want to get
Who
one.
knows?
Yeah, same. I'd love one. After talking to Sammy about the one he got, I was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I want to get Pex and Brody in here ASAP too to have a yarn
that'd be
about
good to suss out. Looks like they got it dialed in.
Yeah, have a yarn with them.
You want to before we get into listener questions, I'm going to ask you. We ask all our guests this. It's one of my favorite segments because I'm always fucking up. So I want to ask you, what's your biggest wood duck story? Have you got an all-time stuff up?
Yeah. So I've ridden a few boats off over the years. So a few boat crashes.
Join the club.
Yep. So, but I'll give you one. It's a bit of a long-winded story, so I'll try and get through it quick. But it was the closest near-death experiences I've had. The 3 closest near-death experiences I've had all happened in a 24-hour period.
But yeah, right.
Bad things coming through.
Fuck, man. So long story short, my first trailer boat that I bought was a 6.5 meter Shivers Meridian. I was 19, I think, at the time. Just met my missus, loaded up down to Coral Bay for the weekend, Australia Day weekend, heap of lads down there doing a bit of fishing. Cyclone come down the coast, and it pissed down fucking rain between Karratha and Nanyatara.
Yep.
We got stuck there for a day because the highway was closed on a Sunday, and I had to be back at work on Monday. Right, so I woke up, road's clear, let's go. Yep, cool. Buzzers was in the car with me, Brenton. So him and his missus jumped in his cruiser. I jumped in the thing in my cruiser with the boat, started heading home. Got to the first floodway and Buzzers like, I'm just going to keep punching, man. We've got to get through this. I'll get home. I'll see you at home. Yep, cool, no worries. And I remember like driving along and when you can see, it was late arvo, you can see on the horizon, it looks like a shimmer.
Yeah.
I remember looking up and going, oh, yep, shimmer. And I went down to change a CD and I looked up, fucking floodway. Like didn't even have time to hit the brake. Doing 100 with the boat on the back, hit this floodway, aquaplaned, pulled me off the road into the culvert, binned it, flipped the car, flipped the boat, but ended up upside down in about 1.5 meters of water. So I just remember waking up underwater in mud and like full like fucking cars smashed in on my head. I'm getting my seatbelt. I could feel my missus wiggling around. I remember like got my seatbelt, leaned over, grabbed her head by the hair and just like pulled her up. And I was fuck, you're right. And she like took a big gasp. She's like, yep, I'm right. And then we're like slowly sinking down.
The water.
Yeah, and I kicked the fuck out of the windscreen, punching the windscreen. I got the windscreen out, grabbed her, pushed her through. We got out. Like, you know, like 10, 15 minutes of just shock. Like, fuck, she's all fucked up. I've got bones hanging out my hand. What am I going to do here? So, yeah, dealt with that. First bloke that came to pick us up was
scar on your finger?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's where the bone was sticking out there. Like, yeah, it was all fucked up.
No way.
I think that went through the windscreen, but I'm not sure. And the missus bounced up and hit the roof and she opened her up from the bridge of her nose all the way over her eyebrow. Like, eye was hanging down. Anyway, these blokes rocked up and they were on their way to a job to Karratha for joist cranes. They had like a high ab, slings, come-alongs, like the best blokes you could have imagined to get us out of this situation. Flipped the boat over, put it on the trailer, flipped the car, got all the shit together and towed us up to a 24-hour car park. But they only had a ute with 2 blokes. So they're like, look, this is as much as we can help. We're going to carry on. Yep, all good. The next bloke that rocked up was this fucking weirdo in this like BT Commodore with like suitcases in the back and a budgie, like just this fucking like serial killer. Yeah, man.
Anyone with a budgie.
Yeah. And by this time it was night.
Like a grown man on a BMX bike. It's just sus.
And we were fucking desperate. And he's like, look, I'm going to Port Head. I'll give you a lift. Yep, cool, no worries.
I would have been like, nah.
Jumped in the back. He's driving. Budgie cage in between me and the missus and we're fucked. Right? So we've both fall asleep. Next thing, fucking we're sideways down the road, man.
Oh, no.
Snaking down the road, 360 off the road. Almost fucking died again. Like
another crash.
Yeah. I woke up to like side, and missus is screaming. I'm like, fucking this cunt's like oversteering and we binned it. Holy fuck. He's like, oh, sorry, I fell asleep. Like, because he just drifted off and fell asleep. Fuck. You get out, we'll fucking drive, right? The missus jumped in the car. She's fully patched over with one eye. She can't see out of one eye. I can't steer because my fucking hand's all fucked up. So I was holding her hand with my other hand, squeezing her when there was something on the road or a floodway, and then she'd stop or go around a tree or whatever. So we drove home like that. Got to Karratha, had a couple of hours sleep, went to the hospital, got patched up, rang a few of my mates. He owned a trucking company with a tilt tray.
Yeah.
Loaded all the shit up, got a car trailer on my old man's troopy, back down to get all the shit. Loaded the boat up. My mate in the truck was like, I'll see you back in Karratha. I'm going. Yep, cool. Me and Wazza Tucker, my best mate, put the car on a boat trailer, towing it with my old man's troopy. We're heading home. By that time, it's midnight the next night. We're fucked. Driving through, and it had rained again inland, and the floodways have all flooded again. So we're going through this floodway, like doing first gear, doing a couple of K, man, just chugging through this fucking floodway. Lights coming down the other way, big truck lights. Big long floodway, probably 100 metre long floodway, and we're probably halfway through it. And we're looking and we're like, he ain't fucking stopping. We're flashing. I'm on the 2-way, fucking stop, water. This semi man hits this waterway doing 100. And I remember just like, it happened quick, but I was like, I didn't really have time to veer off because I couldn't go anywhere. And this wave came through the window, man, like blew me back, fucking soaked the car. The whole semi jackknifed. And it is just so lucky it jackknifed the other way, man. And it like chopped gum trees like as thick as my torso, just leveled off all these gum. Man, it would have cut us in half.
Oh, wow. No way.
Fuck this truck. Didn't roll it, but the cat it went over, like just carnage, man. And we're just like, got through the thing and we're just like, holy fuck. And the truckie come out, fuck, sorry, I didn't see the water. And we're just like, we can't help you. We're fucking going.
Yeah.
Just get me the fuck home.
Mate, you're an insurance problem waiting to happen.
So that was probably the most intense
That's fair wood,
fuck up and almost near-death experiences I've ever had.
That's kind of almost too gnarly to be a wood duck home at the moment. That's
man,
like,
that was just,
it seems like no fault of your own. You just have someone had it out for you that day.
Hitting an aquaplane at 110 or 100 with a boat on the back.
Yeah,
that's a bit of a wood duck stuff.
That almost takes skill.
Yeah.
But ending upside down.
Yeah, that's full wood duck stuff.
Like all experiences you learn from, you know what I mean? When you're young and dumb and you just don't give a fuck, like all those little things now, like when I'm towing the boat, you just learn.
Or you see a truck coming the other way,
100%.
you'd be twitching, I reckon.
You learn,
yeah.
Oh, man. I reckon we rip into listener questions, Lek.
Let's go.
Reckon? All right, so we had some really good ones. A lot of them were sort of similar, so I apologise to anybody that has asked a similar question, but we've gone with the other one. So Daiwa... Daiwa have gotten behind the listener questions, as you would have heard last episode. So thank you so much to the legends at Daiwa. You guys are benefiting from this partnership as well. So every week we're going to give away a prize pack to the best listener question. So last week we gave away a TD Black to a fella all the way over in Victoria. I sussed out his Instagram page. He's going to get real good use out of that reel. He's a very keen fisherman. This week we're giving away a 6,000 2020 BGMQ. So beautiful little reel. Having a spin with it yesterday, I'm kind of jealous that we're giving away all this stuff, to be honest.
These questions from Rothy.
Yeah, trying to win my own shit. So anyway, so we got first one starting from Will Roche, Exmouth guy. He fishes with the Send and Bend boys a bit. I think he's up there at the moment.
Will.
So he wrote, what separated you and your team during line class tournaments leading to success? So he actually asked two questions. I've sort of merged them here, but we spoke about the line class. What do you think the one thing was that separated you guys when it came to tournaments?
So separated us as in...
Got you the success.
Got the success, yeah. So like I mentioned before, I think we were lucky that we learnt from such skilled anglers. Like we had a really good upbringing and learning from those senior guys in the club. And then I think just going out off our own back and refining and putting our own touch on it. Really got us going. And like Lex said before, the quality of anglers you're fishing against. Yep. So nothing was easy. Like that local comp, way harder to win than what it was to go down and win GameX purely because of the angler skill you're fishing against.
Yeah.
So
challenge yourself.
The competitiveness that we were fishing against up in Karratha because of how good the anglers were.
Iron sharpens iron.
Yeah,
brings everyone up.
Yeah, surround yourself with good fishermen. Don't just.
Yeah. That's everything in life, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Surround yourself with good people and you'll grow.
Yep.
Another one, I think we've kind of touched over this. So at Tumstar, so it's Tom, what is the most important factor when targeting GTs? That's pretty well quick fire. We've gone into all the details, but what's the one thing that you need to target good GTs?
Tides. Yep, I'd say tides. Yep. Nutting out what bit of the tide is the best. Because, pretty hard to answer that for, say, the whole of Australia.
Yeah.
But, tide. I would say tide. In my area, tide. But I reckon that would be tides in general.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Keisty, what pulls harder, a doggy or I'm so sorry, mate. I asked that question.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
That is a great question.
I think I'd probably say on a jig, a dog, because it can run deep. That's where they want to go.
Quick and fast.
Yep, 100%. But I've caught both. I've caught dogs on top and GTs, and I'd say a banger on top.
Yep. Nice. Becca?
All right, I've got a couple here. This one, I've watched a couple of David Attenborough's as well, so I'm interested to ask this. Have you ever seen a GT pretty much eat a bird? Alex Vermeulen.
No.
I've seen the David Attenborough.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
Yeah. I'd love to see
That'd be cool, eh?
Yeah, so that happens at Alphonse, I'm pretty sure. Alphonse Island, that's where that happens because of the big bird migration, and the bangers there have learnt to feed on the birds. But not specifically in the Pilbara. I've seen tiger sharks eat birds. I've seen tiger sharks eat mutton birds before, yeah. Yep, down in Exmouth. So GameX time, it seems, when the mutton birds hatch and you get the little hatchlings that are learning to fly. And I've seen tiger sharks in the lagoon coming up and eating mutton birds, which is pretty cool.
Put a hook through one.
Yeah.
See how you go.
Yeah.
This one is from Carlos Bestito. I'm butchering the names here, but any offshore tips for a Karratha newbie in a 4.8 metre boat?
So I got a 4.8 metre. I got a little top ender. I love that fucking thing.
Sick,
in terms of tips, it all depends on what you want to do. I think like sports fishing wise, the world's your oyster. With a tinny that size, you can pretty much fish all the islands. You can go up the coastal creeks. Like a 4.8 in Karratha is the ultimate all-rounder. It all depends on what style of fishing you want to do. The sports fishing all around the archipelago in that size boat, you can do whatever you want. And on a good day, you can still get offshore and do your reds and whatever you want to do there.
Off to a good start with a 4.8.
Yeah. I think I'll just say, okay, like say if you want to go target topwater fish, I'll just say specifically on that 4.8 metre boat, I'd probably look to get out to the outer islands on a good day. So the outer islands, I'm talking the outer peripheral islands that probably run from Delambre all the way around to Northwest Reef.
Yep.
You go and target those islands on a nice day with that size boat. That'll put you in a good position to have a good session.
Nice. That's just filled in with confidence. I'd be stoked if I got that answer.
100%. All right, I got one more here for you. Ross Hummel, is there one that got away story that you think could have been your best catch?
Yes. So GameX, the tiger shark world record. We chased that from the first GameX we did. So we fished 5 GameXs. We've had 3 wins and we've had 2 runner-ups. From the first GameX we fished, we had a tiger shark on 3 kilo that would have qualified for the world record. We had that fish on every year until the last year, and we'd lost it in the most fucked up ways. We had hooks pull, hooks bend, gear failure. We'd had that fish on every single year. And the last year, on the last day, we caught that fish and we gaffed it, and it's still a current world record now. So it was kind of like the one that got away, but it was we got him, and it was the fucking nail in the coffin. That's what kind of closed the chapter on us fishing GameX. It was kind of like, we did what we wanted to do. Now let's move on to probably, spending the same amount of money, same time away from the family to go and start doing some offshore fishing or some overseas trips.
New stuff.
Yeah, but as a tiger shark, it was a 232 kilo tiger shark on 3 kilo, which is the current world record. Yep.
Oh, mate, I'm using that for brim.
Can I touch on the tiger shark world record?
Yeah.
So this doesn't get enough airplay. If this was in America, this would have made front page IGFA fucking news.
Yeah, they're not
right?
as woke about it over there, are they?
So Karratha, Exmouth Region, but from anglers from my sports fishing club, hold the current world records for tiger sharks on 1 kilo, 2 kilo, 3, 4, 6, 8, and 10.
Wow.
All Dampier anglers, fish caught Dampier or Exmouth.
Sorry, carry on.
2 of those fish were caught in one day, right? So Justin Leach and Brenton Cartledge, 2 of my good mates.
Leachy, yeah.
Yep, good mates of Deeks. They had a day where they went out in Leachy's boat, specifically to chase tiger shark on 2, world record, and they took a 1 kilo just in case. First fish came up in the belly trail, the right size, put a bait to it, caught it, gaffed it, 89 kilo. I'd have to double check. 89 kilo on 2, world record, bang, done on the deck. Fucking sweet. And they're like, let's have a go on 1. So they went back, burled up, another fish came up, same size, put a bait to it, fucking got a shot on it, gaffed it, 2 world records on the deck, same day. 1 kilo, 2 kilo. One of them, the 1 kilo fish at the time was the highest ratio capture in all of IGFA history.
Wow.
89-1. It's been beaten
in terms of line class to actual
highest
weight.
ratio capture.
Wow.
And those boys did it in a fucking trailer boat off Dampier, and it just got it didn't make no news, no nothing. Like if those captures had happened in America, man, it would have been fucking, the internet would have been broken.
That's what we're doing here, mate. We're
breaking
the boys are getting their flowers now, all right? Give them another mention.
Now, while I've forgotten to grab this reel, I want you two to discuss what you think that best listener question is, because I've got an idea of what I reckon it is, but you two discuss amongst you. Who's getting that reel?
Well, we have sort of been saying gives you the best answer, or how it makes you feel. I actually like that last question because of the answer that it turned into.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. It prompted a good response.
Yeah.
And it prompted something that I actually hadn't thought of before I came in here.
Yeah, there you go. Well, that's kind of the whole concept behind the listener questions, and rewarding you guys for asking good questions is you do get a little bit of payback. So who was it that asked that?
So a good question. It's about the answer as well. So Ross Hummel is there one that got away story that could have been your biggest catch yet?
Look at that. So never been out the box until now, but he's getting himself a brand new BGMQ from Dial. I'd be pretty stoked if I won that for asking a simple question.
100%.
Absolutely.
Unreal. Oh, well done, Ross. That's coming in the mail to you, mate.
Good little line class reel? Or nah, you said you don't. All right. So I'm going to end this, mate. This has been a wicked chat. And, mate, I'd love to come and fish with you up there as well, because you can tell the anglers that we get in here that really know what they're doing.
What I was going to say, Lek, was that I think your hypothesis that some of the best anglers in Australia are from that region Ryan's just proved it.
Yeah.
Today.
I think you, when you talk about that, Rothy, you only have to, and when I say like some of the best anglers, you only have to look in the record books, and it's not just specifically line class and record fishing that they're good at. If you opened up the IGFA, GFAA or ANSWER record books and look at how many captures are in there from the Karratha region, and you start seeing anglers that are in there, common names start popping up.
Yeah.
Like it's
Tim Barlow said the same
half
thing.
that fucking book is from that region.
Yeah.
And they're not just good line class anglers. They are fucking gun barra anglers. They've gone up and won the fucking the classic. They've gone up and won the Darwin Nationals. They're just so good at everything they do in terms of angling. And their angling skill is so wide, from fly fishing to line class to marlin fishing to barra fishing. They're just so skilled. Spearing as well, absolutely.
Spearing is one thing we didn't really touch on this. I'm sure you do a bit of it up there as well, but we're going to have to get some more guys from that region.
100%. I think we got to go up there, to be honest.
Oh, if we have to. I think I'll make it happen.
If you wanted a good spearing one,
you got to go that way.
I reckon, like you said, get the chumming up, but get Lee Mitchell in here because, he has done some fucking cool shit spearing.
Yeah, I'd love to have it. I love listening to his podcast.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Chumming Up boys as well.
Yeah,
another good WA-based fishing podcast.
All right, mate. Well, it's been a wicked chat, but we are going to wrap it up with the quick fire questions. So same questions for everyone. First thing that comes to your head, top 3 eating fish.
Yellowfin tuna, largemouth nanagai or scarlet sea perch, coral trout.
Nice.
Like that. Daiwa or Shimano?
Oh, tough one. I run both, but I will narrow it down to Daiwa for spin, Shimano for overhead.
Yep. One lure for the rest of your life.
Alco Sly Dog 105 heavy.
Nice. Best boat snack?
Beef jerky.
Yeah, I love it. Bucket list fishing destination?
Socotra.
Yeah, where's that?
So you've got Southern Oman, and below Southern Oman's Yemen, war-torn, fucked up country. There's an island off Yemen called Socotra. It's the windiest place in the world. So there's only a 3-month season when you can fish it, and it is the biggest GTs in the world, without a doubt.
Wow, sounds gnarly.
Tell me what that one's like. I don't know if I'll be going there. Have a beer with any fisho, dead or alive. Who is it?
I reckon I've had it, but I would love to have another one with him, and that's Neil Patrick.
Yep.
From Halco. So I was lucky enough to go on a black bass trip in West Papua with Neil, and got to be on the boat with him for a week and listen to his stories and just his accomplishments, the way he can tell a story, what he's done. I would love to have another beer with Neil.
Is that Ben?
Yeah, it's Ben's dad. Yeah.
Old man.
So co-founder of Halco Tackle, IGFA Hall of Famer, absolute legend in the fishing industry.
There's an epic photo in that Fishing in the Wild West book where he's on a boat with a bunch of his mates holding up a big sailfish, and he's in his stubby short shorts, big aviator. It's this most classic photo.
Yeah. Wicked. And any advice for a young fisherman? What is it?
It always gets said, time on the water, but I'm going to go a little bit left field here. If you are a keen young angler looking to upskill yourself, go and join your local fishing club. It's a bit of a dying breed. It doesn't get a rap, but that was the single-handed best thing I ever did as a junior to build my angling capacity. So go and join your local fishing club and just do it because you love it. Don't do it for a photo. Don't do it for an Instagram like. Go and just genuinely do it because you love it.
Yeah, mate, that's a great bit of advice, and I feel like where fishing's at for us right now, those fishing clubs are more important than ever. So, mate,
you say dying breed too, and I reckon everybody says that they have kind of dropped off, but I think there's like we spoke about Sendermen boys and all that sort of young crew that's coming up. I think they're giving it a bit of a rebirth.
Oh, 100%. Pumping up like that Perth Game Fishing Club. Like there'll be young kids looking at that going, fuck, I want to go do that.
Yeah. So just on that too, I don't know, I think we'll be releasing this probably around 3 days before there's actually a WAGFA game fishing info night at the Hillary's Yacht Club. I'll put a post on our Instagram story for anybody that's interested in going, but Whitey's flying down from Exmouth to talk at that. I think Tommy Miller's going to be there. There's I can't name them all, and I apologise if I haven't named you, but WA Game Fishing Association has put that night on so we can all go there and learn. So I'll be there. You'll be away.
I'll be away fishing, but
I'll be there with a bunch of stickers. I might even give away a few Rodcast shirts, but get down there if you can. So, mate, thanks so much for coming on. Have you got any brands that look after you and support you that you want to give a plug to?
Yeah, I do. So Halco Tackle. So they help us out with some pricing. Sibbrand Electronics. So I've been rolling with them for many years. They help us out as well. But probably just the lads at Halco. Been using them since I was a kid. So, nice. proud to be part of that brand.
Mate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wicked. Cool. Well, thanks everybody to tune in to another episode. Thank you to Daiwa for getting behind us, getting behind the listener questions. So all you got to do every week, we're giving away some fishing tackle from one of the best brands in the world in Daiwa. Just keep an eye on our Instagram stories. And every time we have a guest on, you guys can ask a question. Best answer, we'll get a sick little prize pack. So
Pretty bloody good prizes too, by the way.
Epic. I'm like looking at that box over there. I'm just getting jealous, could tear up. But anyway, hit follow, leave us a review. I don't say this enough, but it helps us out a shitload. Thanks for your support on the Rodcast. We'll see you on the next episode.
Yo.
Tall Tales.